In C programming, the flow of control between statements of a program takes place in three different ways. There is sequential flow of control, there is branching, and there are iterative statements. In sequential flow of control, the statements execute one after the other in a sequence. There is absolutely no confusion over here in the way in which the flow of control inside the program takes place. Whereas in branching statements, the decision of whether a particular statement will be executed or not will be based on some condition. Okay, these are conditional statements or branching statements, wherein the execution of a particular step depends on the evaluation of a particular condition. A condition decides whether or not to execute a statement. Today we will be learning about the branching statements in particular. Then there is the iterative statements. Whenever you want to execute a block of code repeatedly until a condition is true, you make use of iterative statements. First we'll just discuss the sequential statements, sequential flow of control in the program. As already discussed, there is absolutely no confusion in the control flow. Example, consider this flow chart. The first statement to be executed is to read the number 1 and number 2. After this, the next statement to be executed is sum equals to number 1 plus number 2, and the next statement to be executed is print sum, and this ends the program. There is absolutely no confusion in the flow of program. To convert any given flowchart into a program, first note down what are the different variables needed. By looking at the flowchart, we know that we need a variable number 1 for number 2 and a variable for sum. So in my program, at the beginning itself, I initialize three variables, n1, n2 for number 1 and number 2, and a variable called sum. The first step in the flowchart is to read the values of number 1 and number 2. I'll ask the user to enter the numbers, and I'll use a scanf statement to read two integers. And then the next statement in the sequence is to compute n1 plus n2 and assign it to sum. Sum equals to n1 plus n2. And then there is print sum. This is an output statement. An output statement is written using the printf. Printf sum equals to %d. %d because sum is an integer type. This is the format in which I want the answer to be printed, and this is the value that I want to be printed. This is an example of a sequential flow of control in the program. Now let us look at the branching statements. In a branching statement, we are not really sure about which statement will be executed next in the program. For example, here there are two possible outputs for this program. A program may either execute print n is positive, or it may execute print n is negative. At the beginning, just by looking at the program, we are not sure whether this is the flow of control or this would be the flow of control. It all depends upon what exactly is the value of n. The value of n decides whether to go this way in the program or to go this way in the program flow. Such flow of control can be created using the if-else statements. Now let us take a look at the way in which we can code this program. For this program, we need a variable int n. The first step is to read a variable n, and depending on the value of n, if n is greater than 0, I am going to print that n is positive, and if n is less than 0, I am going to print n is negative. This can be implemented using the if statement. The if statement takes as input a condition. Here the condition is the value of n greater than 0. I should print that the number is positive. An if statement can be written without an else. It's not always compulsory to write an else for an if statement. Let us see what will happen if I execute the program just like this. I'll run the program. So I'll enter a number 5. Because the value of phi is greater than 0, it prints that the number is positive. Let me run this program again, and this time I'll enter the number as -8, and the program does not do anything. To know the reason for the blank output that we have got, let us take a look at the flowchart of this program. First we read the value of n, and we in an if statement we have written if the value of n is greater than 0. If that is true, print n is positive. So what will happen if it is false? Nothing we have written about it. So if the condition is false, then simply terminate the program. This is exactly what is happening over here. Just because we have written what should happen when the condition is true, we have not yet mentioned what should happen if the condition is false. If I want the false condition also to be treated separately, then I need to write an else condition. Else is mostly like if n is not less than 0. So for else I will write printf number is negative. Our modified program looks something like this. Once again, after reading the value of n, we have an if condition. We have a decision to make. If the value of n is greater than 0, if the condition is true, then we are printing that the value of n is positive. If this condition is false, if the value of n is not greater than 0, then we have another thing to take care of. So if this condition is not true, do something. If the condition is true, do some other thing. Now if I execute this program, I give a positive number and it gives me the right output, number is positive. I'll give a negative number, the number is negative. In this way, both the conditions are handled correctly. It's not always compulsory to make use of an else for a if statement, and if need not always have a else statement. Only if it is necessary, you should have an else statement for a if condition. This program is an example for a two-way branching statement. Here there are two possibilities, two branches from a given condition. Either n can be positive or n can be negative. Many a times we also come across situations where our program needs to branch in more than two ways. So we may have to perform a multi-way branching. For this, we may have to make use of a nested if-else statement or an if-else ladder. Suppose I want to modify this program and I want the program to print if the number is positive, negative, or if it is 0. So I also want to consider 0 as a special criteria for this program. In this case, I can modify my flowchart as follows. After reading the value of n, I am going to first check, is the value of n equals to 0? If it is true, if this is equals to 0, I am going to print that yes, the value of n is 0, and I'll simply quit the program. Whereas if it is not equals to 0, then I have another condition to check. If it is not 0, is it greater than 0? So I have a condition inside another condition. If this is true, print n is positive. If this is false, print n is negative. So this condition will be evaluated only if the first condition is false. Now let us take a look at two different ways in which this flowchart can be implemented. I'll go back to my program. Once again, I'm going to read the value of the number, and the first condition is the value of n equals to 0. If it is equals to 0, I'm going to print that n is 0. Else, if the value of n is not 0, what happens if the value of n is not 0? The false part of the for loop is another if-else statement. So I'm just going to put the next if-else condition. Whatever I had written previously, I'll write it inside the else block. This is one way of implementing it. If n equals to 0, then print n is 0. Else, that is the false part of this if statement, is another if-else condition. Else if n greater than 0, print number is positive, else number is negative. This is one way of implementing the nested if-else, the multi-way branching using nested if-else. The second method is using an if-else ladder. Here we have the first condition. If n is 0, print n is 0. Else, I'll write another keyword, else if. This is another keyword. This is for the second condition. Else if n greater than 0. Second condition is if n greater than 0. If n is not equals to 0, but if n is greater than 0, then print the number is positive. If both the above conditions are not true, then it goes to the else part. This is the if-else ladder. The previous method was nested if-else. This is the if-else ladder method. Now let me go ahead and execute this program. It asks me to enter a number. I'll enter the number 6. The number is positive. I'll enter the number 0. It prints n is 0. I'll run it again. I'll enter the number -9 and it says number is negative. In this way, the program has 3 different branches. It's a multi-way branching statement. Instead of 3, we can go on adding any number of steps in this ladder. We can go on adding different conditions using the else if statement.